If sex education had a season 5, the most natural shift would deepen its exploration of the post-secondary world. The characters entered at the end of season 4. The move to Cavendish Sixth Form was already a step toward adult life, but a season 5 could see the gang transition into university, internships, or early careers. This setting would offer boundless opportunities for new story arcs, balancing independence, relationships, and mental health, while confronting issues like financial stress, identity exploration, and real-world responsibilities. The show's trademark mixture of heartfelt emotional depth and candid, sex-positive humor would stay relevant by tackling topics many young adults face after school. Such a season could contrast the familiar Moordale dynamic with broader societal expectations and more diverse interactions, highlighting how Otis, Aimee, and others adapt their lessons in sex and relationships to more complex environments. Otis, the emotional core of the show, was always about helping others while struggling with his own vulnerabilities. In a predicted season 5, Otis could confront the limits of his sex therapist persona as he tries to build a more grounded identity outside the school clinic. We'd likely see him juggle real-world pressures like maintaining a business, learning to communicate with more emotionally mature peers, and reconciling his romantic history with Maeve with whatever new connections he makes. His academic strengths, particularly in psychology and communication, could be tested by real ethical dilemmas, where emotional support crosses professional boundaries, deepening his maturity. Otis's growth might culminate in him recognizing that healing others doesn't necessarily heal himself, prompting a subtle shift from advising others to learning self-care and setting boundaries. By the end of season 4, Maeve was poised to thrive in the United States, focusing on her writing and personal development. A season 5 might follow her on a creative and emotional journey through a prestigious writing program, where she finds new mentors, rivalries, and creative blocks. Maeve's narrator could balance the thrill of opportunity with the reality of pressure, the struggle of being an emerging artist whose confidence swings between brilliance and insecurity. There is also room for rekindling or redefining her complicated relationship with Otis, not necessarily as a romance, but as two evolving people whose connection becomes more about mutual respect and less about high school identity. Mentorships, literary communities, and even cross-cultural experiences could enrich her storyline, pushing Maeve to question what success really means outside Moordale. Eric's journey with identity, family, and faith has been one of the show's most poignant arcs. A speculative season 5 could put his aspirations of making religion more inclusive to the test, exploring how modern queer identities navigate traditional institutions. Eric might find himself at the forefront of social activism, blending his genuine spirituality with public outreach, debate, and community building. He could face resistance, disillusionment, and the challenge of balancing his personal authenticity with a broader platform. The exploration would allow sex education to continue its compassionate look at intersectionality, showing that spiritual identity and queer identity can coexist, but not without discomfort, growth, and cultural negotiation. Eric's story could become a metaphor for reconciling personal belief systems with modern social landscapes. Jean was always more than a therapist. She was a guiding force, often as messy as her clients. In season 5, she could take on new professional horizons, perhaps transferring her unique therapeutic style to adult settings. She might face her own midlife reassessment, questioning if she's still truly impactful beyond her teenager clients, challenged by new therapeutic frameworks, bureaucratic constraints, or her own emotional baggage. Jean Zog could explore the complexity of being a healer who must confront burnout, personal loneliness, and boundaries. She could even take on a mentorship role for Otis, or another young therapist, forcing her to refine her approach and confront generational gaps in understanding relationships and sexuality. Aimee's evolution from insecure teenager to someone actively confronting her trauma has been powerful. In a season 5 narrative, she could find solace and expression through art, culture, or community activism. Her journey might involve therapeutic art programs, feminism workshops, or public speaking that helps others while healing her own wounds. Aimee has newfound confidence, tempered with vulnerability, would allow the series to explore themes of self-advocacy, resilience, and the complex reality of trauma recovery. Her friendships could deepen into communities bound by solidarity rather than codependence, showing growth that's both personal and collective. Jackson's desire to understand his family background and navigate his romantic life was a recurring theme. Season 5 could return to his quest for identity, possibly including a journey to meet biological relatives or explore his cultural heritage. Simultaneously, his love life could become more nuanced, perhaps involving a long-term partner who forces him to confront trust, intimacy, and vulnerability in ways high school flings never did. These storylines would blend humor with heartfelt moments, emphasizing that coming-of-age T-stop at 18's social and emotional maturity is ongoing and unpolished. Ruby's character has shown surprising depth beneath her confident exterior. A Season 5 could see her grapple with the consequences of social status outside the confined world of Moordale. Without the rigid hierarchy of high school, Ruby might reinvent herself, or struggle to find an identity that doesn't rely on popularity. Whether she chases modeling, entrepreneurship, or academic success, her storyline would explore the tension between self-image and vulnerability. Through friendships and conflicts, Ruby could discover that authenticity often trumps projection, a powerful message about identity in a world obsessed with perfection. A hypothetical Season 5 would almost certainly introduce a fresh ensemble new students, colleagues, roommates, and rivals. These characters could embody contemporary issues like digital intimacy, consent culture in the workplace, or activism in the age of social media. Their interactions with a familiar cast would create rich narrative tension, forcing old characters to reassess their beliefs. Perhaps a student facing non-binary identity struggles, or someone dealing with online harassment, could become central, allowing the show to stay socially relevant and expand its educational heart into broader contexts. Above all, predictions for Season 5 hinge on what made sex education beloved: its ability to intertwine humor with empathy, candid conversations with heartfelt growth, and messy life experiences with genuine compassion. Even if Season 5 never materializes officially, imagining it allows recognition that the world of Moordale and its characters has room to grow beyond traditional school boundaries. Spin-offs or universe expansions could honor this spirit too, exploring new protagonists while maintaining the show's core commitment to honesty about sexuality, mental health, and human connection. The legacy of sex education will likely continue through influence, fan imagination, and perhaps future stories in that rich world, even if not in a traditional Season 5 format.